O'Hara, who's going to school on Kyle Wyman. Is he going to do it? Down the hill he goes, trying to get that motorcycle stopped. Tyler O'Hara with a big move under braking takes over the lead. Here comes Kyle Wyman.
Alright, what up you guys? John's Moto Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Pretty excited. I didn't think I was going to make it, but today we're going to be doing a demo ride on this Indian Challenger. I've ridden this before. It's been quite some time. Beautiful motorcycle. And yeah, this is what they call the Harley Road Glide Killer. I think this took the podium for the Bagger Racing League. Freaking, you got your dual disc, you got your Brembo, inverted front forks. What do we got? 122 horsepower, 128 foot-pounds of torque out of this Power Plus, which I believe is a 108 liquid cooled. I'll go over all those other specs in a minute here. But yeah, just a little walk around. Beautiful bike, controversial front end. Some people think it looks terrible, other people dig it. Yeah, no doubt this bike was built to compete with the Road Glide, you know, fixed front fairing. And compete it does. As far as performance and stuff goes, it's a really cool motorcycle. These new motorcycles, both Harley and Indians alike, they're just all, they're on another level. They're something else. They're definitely not the bikes of yesterday or yesteryears. You know, it's all a lot more modern technology, fly-by-wire throttle. They feel different, and you get a lot of performance out of these new motorcycles. I say this on like all my videos, and I'll say it again. As consumers, we're just extremely lucky to have the options, and I think anytime somebody comes in and starts to push innovation or even just compete and put pressure on the other manufacturers or brands, I think that's a good thing for the consumers, because we're going to get, hopefully, fingers crossed, a better product ultimately out of that whole deal. All right, so big bike. I throw a leg over. I haven't ridden a bike like this in quite some time. Very big bike, but at 5'8", it sits plenty low to where my feet, I'm flat footing it, so that's a good thing. But it is going to feel heavy and arguably a little bit maybe cumbersome coming from your smaller cruiser. So if you're, you know, first time getting on a big motorcycle like this, you might feel intimidated right off the bat. And I'll tell you, these things, once you're moving and have momentum, it's nothing. And then it's just wicked easy. The handling is fine. It's in low speed situations where most people get themselves in trouble, and the key to that, especially if, like I said, if you're newer on a big bike like this, is once you have the bike, go out and practice low speed maneuvers in a parking lot and just put in the effort. And probably what'd be best is put in all that work and effort on a smaller, less expensive, less heavy motorcycle. That way when you get the bigger bike, you already have the fundamentals, because it's going to carry over from a smaller bike to a bigger bike. Hey, how does this one turn on?
So powered up start.
Got it.
Powered up start, okay?
It's going to take a minute for your newbies to get it fired up. These things are freaking spacious, man. That's what I love about these big touring motorcycles, is you got the space, the luxury, the comfort. It's built for touring, it's built for comfort, and that's what you get, man. Plush, comfortable seat, you know, all that good stuff. And boy, does it really, right off the bat, that's what I feel on this thing. I just sit down, I'm like, oh man, what a breath of fresh air compared to some of these other you know, bobber style motorcycles that I was riding before. After 15 minutes your bottom starts to hurt. I don't anticipate I'll have that issue on this motorcycle. So what do we have? You got a windscreen that goes up and down, maybe not. Oh, that's for the radio. This thing's equipped with the floorboards, 6.5-inch fairing, speakers, AM FM radio, Bluetooth. You get all that awesome stuff. Smart lean technology, dynamic traction control. Yeah, it's got some good stuff on it. Say, man, I wish. Sport, bam, there you go, we found it. So you got all your ride modes: rain, standard, sport, traction control. You've got people stealing shopping carts. The throttle takes a minute to get used to. Hopefully this guy will take off. Come on, bud, you can get on it. So anyway, this bike, the awesome thing about it is it's a big cruiser, you know, big heavy cruiser. This thing weighs in at 796 pounds. but it's freaking got all the power to it, you know, and you feel it. That's freaking awesome, man. There's like nothing better than a bike where you get on it and you feel like nothing's lacking. And so as far as like ultimate touring bike, this thing's it's a powerhouse, it's a blast. And I've ridden one before, and I remember my initial impression is this kind of reminded me of a Honda Goldwing. I had a Honda Goldwing F6B and was blown away by that bike, because if you've ever ridden one, super refined. They've got a ton of power, you know, a lot of power, super smooth and comfortable. And for as big a bike as it is, it handles surprisingly well, like super well. And this bike seems to be very similar to that. It doesn't have that like real crazy rumble that people say they love about a Harley, that it just sits there and like, you know, rattles your teeth out. It doesn't have that, but it does feel like a cruiser still, I guess. It feels like a V-twin cruiser, kind of. Alright, you guys, who are we kidding, bro? This doesn't feel anything like your traditional V-twin cruiser. But I think it makes up for that in just the fact that it's got such sheer gnarly power. Like, who cares? This is a freaking powerful cruiser motorcycle that you're not going to be lacking anymore when you're cruising along on the freeway and you get on the gas. It just goes. And I think well, not every, but I think a lot of motorcycles, especially if you're going to be doing high-speed, long-distance touring, you need that. You need it for sure, and this bike offers it. Yeah, super comfortable. I love the ergonomics. I feel very spacious on this. I've jumped on some Harleys, and you know, maybe I'd have to look up the actual dimensions to see if this is just in my head, but I've jumped on Harleys where they feel surprisingly cramped for how big the bike is. And I don't think that should ever be the feel on a big touring bike. I don't think you should ever feel cramped. And this bike, for me at 5'8", does not feel cramped at all. I have plenty of room to do my thing, you know, if you want to brush your teeth, if you want to lay back and recline, eat some potato chips, like, you can do it all. It does live up to the old adage, what do you say, lazy boy on wheels, you know? But that's a good thing. I don't know why that's a bad thing. So yeah, handling, bigger bike, takes a minute to get used to, but it handles just great. Brakes and everything, very responsive. The throttle, these throttles take me a little bit of getting used to for sure. This has a little bit more rumble to it. That exhaust note, it's pretty good. And yeah, a cool bike, man. I feel like based on the last time I rode the, I think it was a Road Glide CVO, I didn't get that total, what's the word I'm looking for? I just didn't feel super impressed by that bike, especially knowing that it had a price tag of like 40-some thousand bucks. You know what I mean? I was like, dang, I feel like you should get more. This bike, I don't know, I'm impressed. I think it's pretty gnarly. I think for a big touring bike, if you don't want to go the spaceship route with like a Goldwing or a BMW, you know, you want something that kind of has that classic V-twin look, but you don't want any lack of power. This thing, man, I think it fits the bill. And it's not to say you don't get that out of the Harley. I'm sure you get a Harley that does that too, but I feel like Indian does it better, at least on this bike. Now, as far as styling and everything else goes, that's all up to you. You know, you gotta figure it out for yourself. Anyway, so in a nutshell, man, the Indian Challenger, bro, definitely a bike to be reckoned with. For as big a bike as it is, I think I've probably had maybe the most fun on this bike for some reason. And I don't know, maybe it's just that you don't expect a bike like this to ride like this. Yeah, I think part of it is that you don't expect a bike like this to ride the way it rides. And so when you jump on and you've just got all that power at your fingertips, and you know, the handling at these speeds just feels superb, and the braking feels great. It's really surprising, to be honest, and unsuspecting. So I think that's what what I like so much about it. In fact, of all the bikes I've ridden, this is maybe the one where I walk away thinking, huh, that would be a fun one to have in the garage. And that's surprising because I rode the FTR, and I love the FTR. I think that'd be a blast too. But that bike's built for it, you know what I mean? You expect that coming from the FTR. But I rode the Indian Scout Bobber, not as comfortable, just not a comfortable motorcycle. The Indian Chief, I think I rode that bike. Cool motorcycle, just kind of like, yeah, middle of the road. But this thing, yeah, this thing's like kind of calling my name. Like, it's telling me, John, bro, you need a bike like this, dog. Just do it, man. Just do it. Yeah, I feel like I would have so much fun, even just ripping around the city on this thing. That's the crazy thing. I wasn't expecting that. And I've ridden this bike before, so I don't know what has changed. I mean, I liked it last time, but I feel like this time around, maybe it's just been a long time since I was on a big bike like this. Yeah, this bike, it's just got all the get up, man. All the reserve, as much as you could want. And I'm barely getting on it, you know what I mean? I'm amazed. I'm like really, really thrilled to ride this bike. I think this is a much better demo ride than the last one I did. Yeah, this thing just gets up and goes, man. What a freaking powerhouse, dude. I would love to, I'm gonna say it, of all the bikes I rode today, the FTR, the Scout Bobber, the Chief Dark, whatever, and this guy, hands down, funnest and favorite ride is gonna be this this Chieftain here. And I didn't expect that, because this bike doesn't scream fun performance bike. It screams, I'm a big bagger. And yet here we are on a performance bagger. That's the coolest thing about this. A lot of people spend a crap ton of money buying a bagger. Historically, it would have been like the Road Glide, right? They buy the Road Glide, put a crap ton of money into it to have a performance bagger. I mean, that's the thing. Look it up on Instagram or online. You can find these, you know, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 baggers that are built for performance. It almost seems like an oxymoron, but this bike, straight from the factory, pure bone stock, man. Brembo brakes, inverted disc, dual disc, oh my gosh, dual discs, inverted forks, and a freaking blast. Super fast, super powerful. Different touring modes. I mean, this bike, not an adventure bike, but feels like a bike that can do it all on the road. So I'm stoked on it, man. Very stoked on this motorcycle. There you have it, you guys. John's Moto Garage. Let me know what you think. Have you ridden one of these yet? What were your thoughts if you did? And I can say for certain I did not have this same kind of thrill, emotion last time I rode the CVO Road Glide. I remember thinking, like, dang, for such an expensive bike, it seems lacking, you know, but whatever. There you have it on this motorcycle. Like and subscribe if you dig it. Hit me on Instagram at John's Moto Garage. You can catch me. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, this bike, man, definitely a little bit bigger. Definitely getting used to that weight and stuff. It has been a minute since I rode a big bike like this. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but this thing will throw you, it throws you back. It's like, you know, rip your arm out of your socket. Last time I rode a bike that felt like that, it would have been like the Suzuki M109R Boulevard. I mean, it's just different, you know. Alright, that's gonna do it, you guys. Shout out to Ride Now, shout out to Indian for doing this free demo. If you haven't done one of these and you want to check out some different bikes, come do it. They're cool. You know, they'll ask you if you want to buy or anything, but they're not real pushy at all, actually. And if you're honest with them like I was, I just said, no, I'm just here to test out some different motorcycles and do some YouTube videos, and they're cool with it. So that's all I have to say, man. But yeah, this was a fun motorcycle. Cool, man. Alright, I think that's gonna do it for me today. It came out, I saw, I conquered.